Alright, it is 8:58 a.m. It is a Tuesday, but the first day of the week. And I tell you what, I'm actually pretty excited. I actually look forward to trading, even if I lose money today or whatever. I can get better, just put in some more trades, gain some more experience. I would be looking at OTCs, but there's actually, it could always change. But right now, it seems to be like a lot of listed stocks are available that might put up some trades. SINO, I don't really like it too much because it's in this range. I think there's another one like this. But if it blows out of this range, which it might be asking for a lot, if it goes past the 11s, that could be a nice breakout. MYT doesn't have a good long-term chart. These are the nasty ones. They just happen to show up first, but it's just not looking too nice because there's a lot of overhead resistance. I'm actually going to remove this right here. Just a lot of resistance, big volume days traded previously. I'm going to remove it. Ford is a classic stock. It was one of Tim Sykes' favorite trades in 2015, I believe. And right now it just kind of blew out of this range right here. And it looks like it's trying to hold itself together. Unless you look back like at I think a 20-year chart, you don't really see a support level, which would be right here, maybe in the 550s from here as well. Not really that good in terms of support, but I guess it's there. This is my favorite one. I think DFFN is my favorite, although it's had some big volume days. It seems like, was it this one? Let's do a 1 year. Yeah, because this one could break out of this range here in the 160s, and that might actually be a very good move. And they have good news today. Phase 1, whatever, that's all I read. But it has good news that could give it meaning as to why it could break out of the 160s, even though it might have some big volume days previously. It gives a new meaning with that. So, if this thing can do a breakout over the 160s level and hold there, maybe like a confirmed breakout, that wouldn't be such a bad setup. But we'll see. It could just sell off the rest of the day too. ALJJ, let's take a look. It looks like it's been uptrending, and then it just had this explosion here, but doesn't seem too good because it's like a red day. Who knows? I like the uptrending though. Doesn't seem to have news, at least on E-Trade. Yeah, I'll just take a look. Right now I'm most interested in DFFN. Maybe not the best long-term chart, but this thing could very nicely break out of this range, the 150s or 60s. And if it holds above it, if the level 2 looks nicer than what it is, I mean, why not? It can make a nice move. So that's all I got for right now. It's pre-market, 30 minutes to go. I'll keep looking for more setups. I'll look at the chat. I don't want to have too many stocks on the watch list, but this is what I have for right now. Alrighty, 917. I got rid of a few stocks just because it seems like one of them was just sold off. The other one, not really the best volume. It might have actually been the same stock, but I had both of those things going against it. I just don't want to, have too many stocks and then I miss a setup. At least lower the chances. SINO, I remember this is a stock that Tim shorted like in 2010. Or was it here? No, I think it was earlier. I guess it was here. Then he shorted some other time. I think it was in 14, yeah. He shorted some at 14. And then he talked about why. And then it was pretty right on that because he kept talking about it a few months later, I think, in one of his blog posts or something. I forgot, but I know this is a sketchy shipping company, but yeah, I just really don't want to touch it right now. I haven't really, looked at myself and how I trade these type of stocks that are still in a range, but obviously, if it tries breaking maybe past the 1040s, that would be impressive. And we're seeing plenty of pumps just continue to move, so that would be impressive if it could do that. ALPP, I don't really know too much about how the OTCs are doing right now. I haven't really updated the second watch list with OTCs. I would probably be doing it. already. If it weren't for the listed stocks that seem interesting so far, I might regret that, but I will definitely consider doing it later today, now that I think the money settled in TD immediate trade, so I can trade there as well. Albeit maybe just 1 or 2 setups a week. Just I only have 3,000 there, so with commissions being a thing there with TD immediate trade 695 in and outs, that's going to mean that I'll probably exceed my cash buying power pretty soon. So I can only trade a few setups there. It has to be perfect, and that's even if I consider them right now. FORD. That's funny. These two stocks are both stocks that Tim traded in, likes to talk about, or at least at the time. I'm watching the older video lessons, but some of them I remember him trading. And yeah, just nothing right now with FORD. This might sell off, and what I don't like about this stock is the crappy volume. I might remove this one too. Really just DFFN, although this one did put up a bit of a bounce here. It's a lower low, so I'm gonna have to be cautious. I might have to change my mind, and I have to still look at stocks in the chat. I have to keep going with that. Okay, just a quick update. 9:25 a.m. SCKT is another stock. I like how it's up 200% pre-market volume. It's looking okay, pretty good so far. Just a bit worried that it might get sold off from these two previous volume days. I was considering maybe for a slightest moment a buy, but the problem is that it's pre-market. I just don't want to trade pre-market. I don't like the price. I could trade 50 shares though. Just looks like an inverse head and shoulders. Head, shoulder, shoulder. It could do a nice spike towards the neckline in the 1050s, and that would be good for it if it could do something like that. But could have bought the 990s. I just didn't want to for that reason. Probably regretting it right now, especially because I could trade in and out, but I'd rather just wait for the market open. You never know. Otherwise, this is a nice looking stock at the moment. Okay, yeah, market just opened. Already did the move. I was also considering a second higher low setup. So we got shoulder, head, shoulder, and then here's a second higher low. This one happened very quickly. Already did the move again, the nice inverse head and shoulders here, pre-market, as well as this. This was like right before the market opened that it did this setup, and now I don't like how it did that big wick here. Now we're back to this level. That's actually pretty trashy. Just a bit of a wasted move. It should have waited just a little longer for the market open. Maybe there would have been a better chance of it making a nice move. It looks like the thing got halted too. So yeah, that's all I see for right now. I'm gonna stop looking at this stock. I guess I should consider trading pre-market more, especially if I can get in and out of trades easily, because I don't have to worry about day trades because I'm trading with the cash accounts. Oh damn, I just missed it too. DFFN did that nice breakout towards the 160s. Okay, so I'm starting to see a new trend. It looks like these stocks are going to start making their moves right before the market open. If not right at the market open, although this is looking a little sketchy. It could keep uptrending. Just very nice moves. I might have missed some nice setups just by not wanting to trade pre-market, but I'll probably now consider trading pre-market if that means that it helps me get in before, or maybe right as it starts becoming you know, very volatile with some, you know, moves toward the upside, at least in this case, because I'm trading long setup. So that's pretty impressive. I'll keep looking. I'll have to think back and see what setups could be made, but yeah, this is what I got for right now. Alright, it is 9:42 a.m. I need a I'm glad I don't have this problem in bed, but I swear, man, I cannot, like, I just suck at holding, dude. Alright, so I had a trade here. It was kind of like an instant reaction, really. I didn't hesitate at all, which is kind of surprising. Wow, this is speed keys, by the way. No, I wasn't trying to get these shitty executions. I just have a speed key so I get in very quickly. But I guess it was right for me to sell. I don't know. I just feel like when you look at trading tickers, and Tigritani, like it breaks out, right? And it takes a while, but eventually it does actually break out and trend above it. The only thing is that, of course, that one tends to show, at least if I remember, I still have to rewatch the whole thing again. I've watched some parts of it, but, the setups where you break out of a day high, right? And this one isn't really, it is kind of ideal because it's breaking out of this whole entire range here, and here as well as here. It just takes time, and I just got in and out way too quickly, but I guess I was right for the moment. Sure, it's gonna downtrend, but ooh, it might actually look really bad if it gets in the 50s. Yeah, it actually got back in the 50s. All right. But when it just spiked in the 168s, or not really the 68s, because I was out the trade by then, I think. But here's the thing. It had this nice spike. It got to the next candle. It did get to the 168s. And here was the issue. Way too many people on the level 2 on the ask. There was this big 38,000 seller. There were some other ones. And I think they were being executed, but it was just not enough to break, past their order. So I got in at 63, sold at 65 with just 100 shares. I think that's a $2 trade. I made $1. I made $1. Yeah, I just traded very small because it's very speculative. You never know if the breakout is going to work or be a fake out. It could try again later. If it does break out, again, we have phase ones on, positive news. Really just uptrending here in the 160s. The problem is that this thing could just sell off. It could just sell off despite the good news. Buy the rumor, sell the news. It's just going to be a big sell-off. But if it manages to break that 160 level, whether I'm in the trade or not, and actually hold above it, this could be a very, very nice. This could be very nice. Right now we're trending at the 150s level again. It's right at the highs. The issue is you don't know if it's going to choke or not. You see, it was something like that. I just don't like the level 2, but obviously with enough volume, it can break past it. So I'll just keep looking. It was good that I tried. I tried a very small position, didn't hold that long. I guess I was right in that sense because it just looked like too many people were on the level 2 and not enough volume. But I have to take into account all the successful trades with Tim Grittani, at least most of them. I know some of them. I think there's at least one that didn't work out, as it never actually broke out. There's going to be plenty of fake outs, and this might be what it is at the moment, a fake out. I might look back at this and say, what a dumbass, it's still holding the level. But it just looks like a very nice setup, and now it looks like an uptrending head and shoulders, which isn't too bad. So I'll keep looking. Okay, it's 9:48. I actually tried one more trade. It just it didn't work out. I bought and sold basically the same level. Maybe actually looking at the exact numbers, maybe just a penny off, minus 80 cents. So I guess I'm off 40 pennies on the day. I really like how I can just get in and out of trades with a cash account. It's very easy, and I guess the only thing I could have done differently is that I probably should have just bought in the last recording. I wanted to get out of the recording to get rid of some pressure, but probably should have just left it because it probably would have gave me a better entry price. Besides that, I don't mind it too much. It just wasn't able to crack this level right here in the 162, so I sold because it just didn't seem like it was going to do that well, at least at the time. Just to not freak myself out, what I'm going to do is either consider buying and holding, which I don't want to, even if it works out, because there's just always a lot of people on the ask in both of the moves. Or number two, just wait for this to break out, run to the 80s, 90s, I don't care, $2. And if it does it, including the breakout, if it does it and it makes a confirmed breakout, it kind of makes like a curving action over the breakout price here, you ever taking the 160s, that would be a good setup just to not try to freak myself out. Is it going to do it now? Is it not going to do it now? Just be patient with that. SCKT broke out, pre-market high breakout here at the 1129s, 1130. I just didn't see it. I was watching DFFN, SINO. Looks like it cracked this level. Just very briefly considered maybe a buy if it holds here, holds here, but this is a crappy stock, so, just because I knew it was a crappy stock, the level 2 looked bad, the price action was bad, the wicks here weren't like making, higher lows. If you can make a sense of that case, like maybe a wick here and then a higher wick, it didn't do that, so I didn't get in. It was right to not trade it, although looks like now it's trying to go back to that level. Could be a potential inverse head and shoulders. It has a long way to go if that's the case. SEKT very impressive because it was up 200% pre-market. Just missed to this price action as well as this. I don't feel too bad for missing it. It is a higher priced stock, so don't really want to trade $600 positions. Even if I have a much larger account, I just don't want to at the moment. Very impressive. I'll just have to keep looking. Okay, it's 9:35 a.m. SCKT could be a $20 stock for all I know, but at least with the way I trade, once I miss the initial breakout setup, and then maybe the second one, if it does like a bull flag, I kind of don't want to trade it anymore just because I think it's overextended. Even if in theory it's a $20 stock in the future, I just don't want to trade it. Although I'll tell you what, it's up 300%. 955. That is impressive. Volume is pretty nice. Let's see, has it traded now more volume than the previous days? It looks like a no. It can, but it hasn't. I don't know. Maybe it would have been more impressive if it already had more volume than this previous day. Although that's a lot of volume, 170 million shares. And this is a $13 stock. Back then it was a $3 stock. So in theory, it might have actually already traded more volume than that previous day in terms of price or dollar volume. So just don't want to really trade it just because I missed out right here because I was looking at DFFN, which is not working, although you could still say in theory it's holding this level. I don't like the level 2. It looks nice now, but every time when it mattered it looks like crap. So, and I don't want to just trade in and out like a degenerate. Is it going to break out now? Is it going to break out now? So the best thing I think is just to wait if it does a breakout, and like I said, a confirmed breakout. So that wouldn't be too bad. ALJJ, I added it back. I guess I missed the setup here, but I don't like it because it failed holding. I think it was because it failed holding the 250s and then broke it. Or was it here? I don't remember. But it held this level. Eventually, the wicks, I guess, kind of had a small uptrend before it got to the 230s to the 60s. I'll just keep looking at. There's no real setups. SINO, I'll probably, I'll remove this. It's just, a cracked 920. If anything, this is a confirmed breakdown. Now it might try to crack the 80s. I'm not trying to be short right now. I can't trade short, even if I wanted to. Just watching SCKT, DFFN. If it does a breakout, a legit breakouts, ALJJ just to watch for now. Otherwise, there's no setups right now. All right, it's 10:02 a.m. I thought about buying, but I don't want to do it. I want to wait for a clear setup, whether that be a inverse head and shoulders or something like that, a bull flag, a pendant, whatever. Just not gonna do a random buy. Even though it looks like it could be working towards a spike right here. One thing to take into consideration, unless you have been short this stock, and I don't know why this thing is backwards. Here we go. Unless you have been, why are these both okay? Unless you've been short this stock, there's literally a very, it's possible, but there's a very small chance that you would be losing money on this stock, because unless you were holding this from 2004, right? It's very likely going to be a stock that most people are going to be making money on, and they all want to jump in because they don't want to miss out. Looks like it uptrended a little from when I thought about buying in the 240s, but again, just want to wait for a real price action, a real pattern. I just don't want to be Mr. Degenerate, and then I blow up, you know, death by 1,000 paper cuts my cash accounts. And now we have the big red candle. That's pretty impressive. Maybe if it drops towards the 140s and holds above it, maybe this is making the head of an inverse head and shoulders, but I'm not going to trade random. And that's DFFN broke this important level of 156, so that's pretty bad. Makes sense. A lot of people were on the ask. ALJJ, I'll keep watching this. It's starting to look very interesting. At least it's trading a lot of volume. Don't like how it's been sold off since pre-market, but it could be worse. I'll keep looking. No setups right now. Besides that, I just wanted to make a few notes. Okay, it's 10:11 a.m. I could have bought here. I just hesitated. Really, just a drop cracks this 250 level downtrends. Big spike, almost like an inverse head and shoulders. Although this would be kind of ugly if you count that as a shoulder. This would be an ugly double head. But yeah, it spiked nicely towards this level, which I would call the neckline. Downtrends holds this 250 level, not exactly. Didn't want to buy here. Didn't want to buy here because it could have just kept dropping. Then I had this candle here, and I thought, okay, well, you know, this might have been a little too much. It might just get sold off the next candle. It did, but it kind of held a wick, and then I guess I should have. Should I have considered buying? Look at this fucking red candle, dude. Holy crap. I think this is a wake-up call to just wait for an actual setup. I'm not gonna, you know, I kind of debated maybe it looks like an inverse head and shoulders. Maybe I just need to not trade so much. That is ridiculous. I mean, this, in theory, you could try a scalp here and, you know, buy the bottom of this big-ass red candle, but you don't know if it'll make another one. Holy smokes. Alright, I think this is a great wake-up call to just wait for good setups. This is not ideal. That is not ideal at all. That's a big candle that it got sold off into two. Wow. Almost looked like an inverse head and shoulders. I think that was a great wake-up call. DFFN and pretty impressive. Actually looking like it's... This might make a legit inverse head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder. I've been watching it on the other screen. It could make an inverse head and shoulders if it... The level 2 still looks like crap. So I would have to take that into consideration. But if it kind of holds this level right here, the 156s, or maybe at least off the wicks here, it could be an inverse head and shoulders. I just don't like how the volume is a bit dry, but you know, when you look at the big picture, it's traded at a lot of shares. So I'll have to keep looking. Great lesson with ALJJ and DFFN. Looks like it could actually be an inverse head and shoulders. Neckline is 159, a pretty tight if you want to count it as an inverse head and shoulders, but you know, 162 would be the second level of resistance that it could try breaking, and then maybe the day high. We'll take a look, but if it makes an inverse head and shoulders, I don't see why I can't consider it maybe just 100 shares, you know, just to trade small. Alright, it's 10:17. I tried to trade there. I just didn't hold that long because they had this nice uptrend and then it just stopped. The whole thing just stopped. And the people on the level 2 just scares the crap out of me. Even though the beta is looking stronger, I just didn't like this level 2. Let's see if that 62,000 seller on the ask is actually real. We're at 159. It could fail right here and just never. Oh, it did it. Nice to break the neckline. Look at all the people on the freaking ask. Just look at that dookie. I mean, for a short, this is heaven, but this is not good for a long. All that people on the ask. It looks like the volume picked up though, I guess. Still a lot of people. Let's see them taken out if it happens. They're actually getting executed. 62,000 sellers, now 59. 61. 59. That's been the whole thing with this setup. Very nice. I just don't like the level 2 price action. A lot of people on the ask. I made 9 pennies with that other trade, but again, it just, I thought, alright, well, maybe the level 2 looks bad until it isn't. It hasn't, I guess it's becoming the case now, but clearly somebody's selling their ass at 160. Now 161. All of these big sellers on the ask, if those were short sellers, they're going to be crying if this thing keeps uptrending. 162. This is a real pattern, ladies and gentlemen. An inverse head and shoulders. Not the spaghetti monster with ALJJ. Still a lot of selling. I mean, it could do it. It's just going to take a long time, and that's something I need to keep working on, is patience. DFFN definitely presented a inverse head and shoulders. Probably caught a lot of shorts in here, and now it's getting past that breakout level. If we do a 1-year chart at 162, this could really scare the shorts, and that could be a nice squeeze. Great for me as a long. It could also fail if too many people are selling, into the bid, or too many people on the ask, and it just fails again. Inverse head and shoulders, the one that works. Worst case, it doesn't. Well, if it works, worst case is that it just gets to the neckline, fails, and then anything above that is adding gravy. Now in the back, we're back in a high 150s. The 62,000 seller, I think, got executed. Yeah, now we're in the 155s. There's not really that much people on the bid. This was a great attempt. It didn't work out here, but they have definitely worked out before. I have plenty of videos showing successful inverse head and shoulders that worked out very nicely. Not just a successful inverse head and shoulders, but a inverse head and shoulders higher low setup as well, and it leads into an intraday breakout. This thing could still work out, but I think it lost for now. Just too many people on the ask, although now is looking much better. Less people on the ask. But I'm not just going to randomly buy here. I'll wait for a setup. I did say that I would wait for a confirmed breakout at this level, but inverse head and shoulders, that's another really good setup. I don't regret that at all. ALJJ cracked 236, the initial breakout level right here, where I held right here. Now I broke it, so that's pretty bearish. No setups there. SCKT is being sold off. Might try to hold the 111s and maybe do an uptrend. That wouldn't be too bad of a setup. I'll definitely keep looking. I'm going to probably update the screenshot right here and get this thing ready so I can go ahead and record my trades. But as of now, I'll just keep looking for setups. Yeah, LJJ probably gonna remove it, but I just want to see how it does. I mean, it's a nice breakdown. I can't short, but that would be a nice setup. And it looks like SCKT is struggling too, although this could probably hold somewhere with all this support. So yeah, I'm just gonna call it off for right now. I'll keep looking. Okay, I was too busy just putting up screenshots, getting it ready to upload on Profitly, but just wanted to record this number 5 setup. I was not interested. I mean, I can't trade this, but You know, if I was going to, I was not interested in buying it here, even though it looks like it might have been actually been able to hold. The problem is that when you look at a 14-day chart, it cracked this level 125, impressive, right? Maybe max panic time. Well, what about this guy right here? Well, this is 116, and when I saw it, it was like 114, so kind of cracked this 116 level. Everybody who might have bought here thinking it was a number 5 setup gonna hold there is now probably not feeling too happy. Although it could still work out, but it's now in the 110s. I wanted to have bought in there just because of that reason, that it just broke slightly under this level right here in the 116s. Just for that reason, was not interested in it. Very impressive. Let's see how far this could go. Lots of people on the ask. There are some people on the bid here at 110. Is 110 gonna hold? Looks like 110 might put up a fight here. I don't like it, but it could definitely, holy shit, it could definitely hold. Somebody's playing with size here at 110. Clearly gonna try to hold it, at least try to. Although somebody dumped a lot of shares, and there are still a lot more shares being dumped at 110. Now uptrends to 111. Let's see if 110 actually holds and makes a setup. Would I have bought? I would, if I would buy just a small setup, just a small position, because I don't like how people were dumping. Well, I guess it's a good thing that people were dumping massive shares into 110 and it was still holding. So it looks like it's gonna go up from here, perhaps 114 by 115. This one's very quick. I'm not used to this. This number 5 pattern is going by very quickly. It's a very quick price action. Seems like 115 has a lot of shares. I might even consider selling half right here in the 115s or the 114s. Yeah, I would probably sell half just because 115 is holding. It's not going away. I'd probably sell the other half right now, even if it works out. 115 is just holding. It could break it, obviously, but it's not. I'd probably be out already at 114. Maybe in at 111, out at 14. Just seems like 115 was holding too well. And it was moving very fast until I got to 115. We'll see how this number 5 plays out. I guess I'll make an update later, but you know, even if it works out, I probably would have been in at 11, out at 14, because I don't like the amount of people on the ask that was not budging at 115. A lot of shares were dumped in the 110. Wouldn't have bought here in the 116s. Probably why 115 is so strong, because everybody who got screwed here is trying to break even, and that eventually causes the pattern to, you know, not work out, or at least struggle. I'll make an update. Seems a lot better now, but I don't know. I guess a lot of people who got stuck here are trying to get out, break even, which isn't helping them in the long run because it's hurting the pattern. Now we're at 116. That's nice. Plenty of people on the support. I have not. Is this an OTC? This is an OTC. It is, because it has a U. I don't get it. It trades very fast for an OTC. It's incredible. I'll make an update later, but it looks like it's gonna work. I guess a lot of people who got stuck here were trying to sell for break even, right? Because they're scared because it just got to the 110s. Even though the 110s held incredibly nice, even stronger than 115 held against the buyers. And then all of them tried to sell their positions here, perhaps for break even, and then
market data connection lost.
Outside of the trade, losing this potential now in the 117s. by the 116. So I'll make an update later. That's what it seems so far. I could totally be wrong. It's just speculation and just trying to be better at learning price action. Okay, it is 10:42. I just it looks like it's gonna actually try to break out. Really just didn't like the consolidation here, and I was too busy adding screenshots. It looks like it might actually try to break out. This will be impressive if it does. Break out this level, probably squeeze a lot of shorts on the ask if it does it, or at least make them a lot more scared. This is looking pretty nice. I guess in theory I could have considered buying here in the 160s. I just would have liked it if it took longer, like a nice cup and handle. None of this. This was a bit too quick for me because it's less likely. Although it is working out in this case, it's just, you know, it's just probability. So it could definitely do it. A lot of people, I feel like they're shorting into this level. I'm pretty sure these are shorts. It could be sellers too, but if I had to guess, these are short sellers. And you know, they're gonna be praying that this is not gonna crack. It is starting to crack. Another level of people on the ask. The level on the bid is building up. I could consider 100 shares here, but I'm probably too late. And even if I were to consider another trade, I just don't like the people on the ask. It will be nice to see them blow up, but you know, that might not happen. SCKT finally held itself together, maybe inverse head and shoulders, but it usually doesn't work if it got sold off into before it makes a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. TSMP, this is impressive. Another follow-up dip. It got as high as 117 the last time I recorded this, and that's as high as it got. Just something about this stock wasn't that good. I didn't like it when it cracked 16 level, and then those people probably tried to break even, probably killed the number 5 setup. Now I don't know if it deserved this, but that is exactly what it got. Very impressive with DFFN. Although people are not resisting, they are resisting, excuse me. They are definitely putting up more shares on the ask. Maybe a short seller saying, well, now it's even better. ALJJ, not gonna trade this. I'll remove it. It's not doing anything anymore. Yeah, just gonna watch DFFN about this multi-day, intraday breakout, or I guess you want to call it multi-month breakout. Very impressive if it does it. It probably is. Probably need to take things into the long term and probably think about it in that sense. Although this is a bit of a choppy stock, and again, throughout this whole entire thing, lots of people on the level 2 selling on the ask. SCKT, I'll watch it. Maybe I'll do an inverse head and shoulders. Probably don't want to trade it anymore. TSMP, I'll see what this guy does, if it does a follow-up number 5 pattern or if it's just going to consolidate. I don't know. Nothing right now to trade. I'll just keep looking. Alright, it is 10:48, just a few minutes later. It looks like it might actually do a nice uptrend, or it might fail. It's kind of 50-50. The thing about it, though, that is good, again, is just that it's breaking out, at least in theory. That's very nice level. Over 160, now it's 72. I saw a large 100,000 share print, a green print, so definitely shorts are being squeezed right now. I love this, man. The people who, you know, try to pound this stock is now getting squeezed. That's beautiful. Why are they shorting a stock up on the phase 1 news and a multi-day, multi-month breakouts? Could still fail, but some people are already, you know, there's already short casualties going on here. Albeit if they cut their losses, well, they shouldn't be that bad. This is the power, I guess, excuse me, of the inverse head and shoulders, although this one was kind of a delay. If this head and shoulders here, inverse head and shoulders worked out, right, and it did, and then it put up like a higher low that was higher than here, I would have probably considered buying it, maybe holding a bit longer. Basically this action right here from this green candle, and then from right here you just cut all this off in the middle. If it did that, I would have totally been in, but I didn't. And throughout this whole struggle, there has been plenty of people selling on the ask. There still is people on the ask. but some of their brothers are getting wiped out, at least in terms of out of this trade. Maybe some of them are going to jump on the long side. Very slow breakouts. Very, very slow. And I gotta learn to be more patient with these types of setups. Although I can't hurt myself or beat myself up too much because, again, throughout the whole thing there was just plenty of people on the level 2. I mean, I guess it's like buying Bitcoin in 2015, right? You buy a Bitcoin, right? But then all the people on the ask, all the sellers, all the negative Nancy's talking shit about Bitcoin, and then it takes a while, but it eventually makes a huge move towards the upside. And now you look like the smart guy. Very nice. Now we have more people on the bid with larger size, although we have 100,000 seller there on the ask. Well, I'll make an update to see how this thing does. I mean, I've seen plenty 11 a.m., 12 p.m. breakouts, and midday breakouts all the time. Probably should have been long. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep improving and keep getting better. Yeah, we'll see what this guy does. Pretty impressive. SCKTE, don't want to trade it. I'm gonna remove it. I've seen this before. Down training, inverse head and shoulders. It could work, but I'm not gonna be in it. And TSMP. It looks like it's trying to do a number 5 at $1. Now at 106. Don't really know what it's doing. Didn't really see the price action, but it's not bad to see it try again. I'll make an update later. Okay, it's 10:59 a.m. so this is a bit nice. I don't know when it happened already, but it happened already before. Maybe it was on SCKT, but DFFN here had a quick drop here to the 160s, and you can say in theory, especially with the wick, it was right at this previous level right here above the highs. Now on the 170s, so this is what I think. I think this is, now that I see it, I didn't see it here. Maybe if I saw what I'm going to tell you here, I would have bought. But what I see now is a uptrending head and shoulders. So shoulder head, here's the shoulder forming. Maybe ideally it drops maybe to the 168s. A little iffy if it drops to the 166s, but it'll have this wick here to risk off of. Perhaps a bit scary, I'll be honest, but if it does an uptrending head and shoulders, that wouldn't be such a bad buy, especially right over this intraday breakout, right over multi-day, multi-week, multi-month, whatever you want to call it, support. Of course, it doesn't have to work out. It's just more likely. Stock is up on phase 1 success news. It could definitely be a nice setup. Now, the only thing is that it traded a lot of volume the other day. It traded a lot of volume in the 120s. A lot of people could be selling into today's price action, but this might be right here. It might just stop right there, and it could work out, but that's a bit freaking iffy. Trust me, more scared in this trade than the other ones. Could definitely work out, and I'll just keep looking. This could be a nice setup. It could fail, obviously, but a nice setup doesn't mean it's going to work. It's just a nice setup in terms of odds. Okay, it's 11:07. God damn it. I tried holding a little longer, but I sold right before the 168 level cracked. Now it's at the 170s. Had I have waited maybe 20 seconds more, probably would have been into it. But yeah, I bought and sold the same cent level, but obviously, right before the breakouts of over 168, now testing the 170s. I was right on the setup. I just should have probably held longer. Shoot, I just need to learn to hold longer. Although I held better. I held 3 minutes, which is like, a record in terms of how long I've been holding recently. Now on the 174s, that's impressive. Let's see if it cracks the day high. I just gotta learn to hold better. It just got a bit iffy. I got scared of a big random, red candle like this or something, just to wipe out the whole thing that it's doing. But I was right on the setup. It was a good setup. It was working out. I just got out too early. I think this is a great lesson. I'm probably down on the day. I'll probably do the math. Let's do the math at 175. Let's see if it cracks 175. It very well could. This is looking very nice. Probably could have traded it a little better, but you know. Alright, let's do 120 minus 8 plus 9 minus 80 cents. I'm down 31 cents. I don't know about you, but I think that's a great 80-cent lesson. Just a lot more experience, a lot more trading. I just have to learn to hold longer because I just sold because I didn't like the way it was looking. This is the type of trade where had I have risked it off of the level here at 66, I would have been okay. I would have held through. I didn't. I just wanted the trade based off of price action. And that's the problem with trading based off of price action. You miss out on certain setups. And then, of course, you save yourself if it doesn't work out. And you eventually would have cracked whatever risk level you would have had. So it's a trade-off. Probably just should have learned to hold longer. Just probably need to learn to hold longer. But let's see. I bought at 4, sold at 7. So I bought here, right after I had a consolidation candle, the risk off the wick at 166, red candle, green, and then I sold right where it's 7. I actually sold in this big candle. Could you believe that? Obviously before it became a big candle, but this could be a very slow uptrend, a very slow breakout, continuous confirmed breakouts over the previous breakout level. This could be a very nice setup. Yeah, just a very nice setup. I lost overall, I forgot the exact amount. I think I lost like 80 cents total. But I learned so much from this. I guess I'll do an update later in a day to see how this did. TSMP, by the way, 117, so it worked out here ultimately, although it's been taking a long time to do it. I had a downtrend here. Yeah, DFFN, I'm glad to see all the shorts getting squeezed. I'm sure they didn't lose 80 cents. It could still, you know, downtrend the rest of the day, sure, but I was right there. I sold right into this candle before it became this big red green candle. So yeah, I'm just gonna call it off here. I'll make an update later, maybe at 1 p.m. I still have a lot of buying power. I'm really happy that I can do this with a cash account, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to participate. I was right about the inverse head and shoulders, albeit it didn't do much. I was right to consider buying here, although this was a bit quick. I was right about the inverse, not the inverse, the head and shoulders here, the uptrending head and shoulders, about buying right after it had a consolidation candle to show that it could hold the level and not just continue downtrending and actually make a bigger head and shoulders. Very nice from the 67s to the 78s. It could still uptrend. It's just going to be very slow, and I need to learn to be patient to maybe buy 100 shares here and then maybe still be holding. Even right now, just like it shows in trading tickers, that you know these breakouts that you see happen all at once when you see, you know, a one-day chart of it after it did it, but at the meantime it takes so much longer than what you think it's gonna take. So yeah, I'm just gonna call it off from here. I'll make an update later to see what these stocks ultimately did. This is funny. People are trading this Rolls-Royce stock. I don't know if it's the actual car company or just a name, but this is pretty funny penny stock. But yeah, I'll go ahead and make an update later in the day. If I had to guess, I mean, there's still people selling on the ask, so that could lead us to not work out, or it'll just be a very nice grind and a very slow uptrend. Maybe a multi-day runner just because it broke out of this level right here. So probably could have traded better. Already see a whole bunch of things I could have improved on, but I'll tell you what, that's a 80 cents well paid for. Alright, it is 2:27 p.m. I'm just gonna call it off as for the recording. DFFN, I just bought 50 shares. And this seems like a very Tim Sykes type of play. I'm just gonna probably want to hold this. I really suck at it, but I'm gonna consider holding this stock overnight for the next day. Why? Because it has good news. It's closing, at least right now, right above the breakout level. You could even base it off the 50s if you want, but it just seems like something that you hold into, and then it seems like a very Tim Sykes type of trade. I could totally be wrong. I could lose a lot. That's why I'm only trading 50 shares, which is like an $80 position. Which, I mean, I'm still going to take seriously, but this is going to be a type of stock that I'm planning to hold towards, tomorrow. And it could absolutely fail, of course. I get scared with, this type of setup holding overnight, because you never know, maybe the next day it has some bad news, financing, or some kind of bad news, analyst downgrade or whatever. But yeah, I'm just gonna consider that. Just very scared, very out of my comfort zone. Watch it have a big drop in the 40s here, but I'm gonna, or maybe even $1, I don't freaking know. I'm gonna try holding this unless it just looks like absolute crap. The only thing is, maybe I should have held longer into the close, but if it also tries to close very nicely, and I might be saying that as it goes to $1, but if it closes very nicely, it might even just sell. But the idea is to maybe try to hold it just because it's right above the breakout level over many periods. Doesn't have to be exact. It could be a top, so I'll watch it. But yeah, it didn't really run much further besides the 170s. And yeah, we'll see what it does. The Rolls Royce stock, very interesting. Nice uptrend. I don't really care. TSMP, also on number 5. It failed the first time. Failed here. I remembered it here. Definitely got up to here. Downtrend. And SCKT. Remember what I said about me not wanting to go long a stock that is all halty, and generally when I miss the first run up, the first breakout over the day high, I just don't want to be a part of it anymore. It did exactly that, Missed it here, never saw it here. Nice breakout, went up to the 16s, 20s, as high as the 33. This is very nice. I did this before. I remember this stock before. Of course not as this crazy, but this is a very nice short squeeze. Maybe all the sellers on DFFN found the juicier target and they all got squeezed to oblivion. I don't know. Pretty impressive. I'll have to get better with these. I did miss the initial breakout, but it wasn't too bad because I was watching DFFN. This, I removed it when it was around here. But yeah, this, when it broke it, that would have been a nice buy, even though it would have been scary as crap. Just like how I'm freaking scared and shaky I feel right now. Just holding 50 shares, an $80 position on this stock. That's right at the highs. Could obviously fail, but now that I have a cash account, I can go in and out of positions like crazy. Not in a bad way, but in a good way, because I am a bit of an under trader. And we'll see. But yeah, it's a pretty good trading day. We'll see what happens. Hopefully this ends up being something where I can hold it into the market close, or maybe not. Maybe I'll sell for a loss too. I don't know, but we'll watch this. That's all I got. Okay, it is 3:13 p.m. So this is what happened. So I placed the order somewhere around here, and it got executed at 61, 50 shares. So this is an $80 position. All right. Even though it's just an $80 position and the setup is so nice, I just sold. I got scared out of it. So this is what happened. Okay, I bought 50 shares somewhere here, 161, and let's see the exact price. It was at 227. About right here, okay? The idea was with such a nice setup, this stock trailing above the multi-day, multi-week, multi-month, intraday breakout over the 160s. This thing could do a nice run-up into power hour. So that's why I bought at 227. This is what threw me off. I was not able to place a stop loss after the order executed. So the order executed, and after that, I was trying to figure out exactly, after the last recording I made, I didn't know how to add a stop loss. I tried messing around with this. There was this advanced order, whatever you want to call it, right here. And I was like, all right, this is great. I can do a profit taker. I had it at 76, and also a stop loss, and I wanted to risk it at 54, which would have been right under this level right here. Had it have broken, then I'd be out. But so here's the thing: what I'm thinking right now. What I probably should have done is, for this type of setup, if I want to consider holding something overnight, to place the order, sure, but to also, while I place the order, have that stop loss and profit taker already with Interactive Brokers in that same exact trade. So then I could just do whatever I want. And in this case, I took a shower, was going to work on some other things, but because I didn't have just that security that, hey, there's a stop loss order out there, so if it goes at 54, alright, too bad, F in the chat, but at least, I was able to maybe save myself from it dropping even more. Like, for example, what if, okay, phase 1 was successful, positive news, besides all the technical analysis stuff, well, now we gotta do phase 2, phase 3. Well, okay, so we did phase 1, but we're gonna need more money for phase 2. And yeah, because we're gonna need more money for phase 2, let's do a financing. And then we have that big nasty red candle, right, that wipes everything out. Even though that probably wouldn't have helped very much with the stop loss, just the idea of having a stop loss there in case it downtrends or fails or whatever, does whatever it wants to do. At least if it drops to the stop loss level at 54, I get executed, whether that be 53, 54, 55, 29. Well, it's not really an OTC to do something like that, but in theory, it's just all in theory. I wasn't able to get a stop loss, so with that, I don't know, I just didn't have the nerves to hold. So then I was like, alright, let me go ahead and sell. Well, I don't know what I did wrong with the speed keys. Oh, I think I know what I did wrong. Instead of pressing shift to sell, I pressed control, which made me actually go from a 50 share position to a 100 share position. So what happened, these were canceled, right? So I bought at 161. I bought more on accident, 169, and me not really understanding what exactly just happened, I pressed the escape button, which basically is like a kill switch. It's like a get me out, like a panic button. It just wipes out all your positions. It gets you back to 0. So I pressed that button, which ultimately meant here was that because I pressed the control button instead of the shift button, and now I noticed my little day trader keyboard that didn't work is not on the desk, which is why I've been feeling like there's this big missing spot just full of space on my desk. Shift is the button to sell. So when I pressed control 1, I actually bought 50 more shares. So that was my issue. So then I was in 100 shares because I bought at where is it? I bought at 61 when it was 227, and then I went ahead and accidentally bought more at 69 at 311, and then I pressed the escape button and I got out completely at 69. Could have probably have gone out at 70, but right at the peak here, this could still work out. It was just me. The setup is still there. if anything, is better because now I put up a higher high from here. Although this one's, you know, made a lower high, it hasn't really dropped to make a higher low. So setup is still in place. Probably could have gotten into setup a lot later in the day, so I wouldn't be worried so much. So maybe instead of being in at, you know, 227, I'm in at 327. Sure, it might be a worse price, but you know, it's closer to the market close, so you know, it's not going to really be as scary. And two, if I place an order like this again, I need to place it and already have a stop loss. Or maybe there is a way with IB to attach a stop loss to an existing order. I was not able to do it in the time frame. Was not able to hold in for that reason, but I think that was a good idea. Maybe that's a great way to help with my under trading. Or at least not really with my under trading, actually. What I meant to say is that this might actually help me with my inability to hold for a long time, is to just in my mind pretend it's an overnight trade, so then I just have to sell when I have to sell or get out of the position to cover. You know, it just has to be a really good reason why. So yeah, just a whole bunch of trading here with DFFN. I've made $3. So it turns out I wasn't actually down 80 cents on the day. I'm up 270. Not 270 as in $270 or 270,000. I'm up 270, which is $2.70. And you know, you can tell I was freaking nervous when I used the VWAP. When I put the VWAP, that's when I'm just looking around because I'm freaking out. Just a good trade because a lot was learned from it. Probably could have done it better, but I could have definitely have done worse. I'm thankful that I got, you know, even though it seemed like a step in the wrong direction, it was a step in the right direction to get you know, kicked out of E-Trade for the pattern day trader, because then it pushed me to make this account with IB here. And even though I can't short at the moment, it's why I've gotten into you know, cash accounts. And now I would have, no way in heck would I have been able to trade as much as I did today, as well as I did, or not well, I think pretty well for the most part, and learn as much as I've learned today had I have only had 3-day trades with E-Trade. Even though I can't short and I miss short setups, even though at the moment I cannot trade OTCs with this account until I reach 100 trades. This is a really beautiful thing, and once I do have, if it will happen, 100 trades with Interactive Brokers, I can trade OTCs, and I will have to pay commission, but it won't be as expensive, I think, at $6.95 in and out. It goes by share, so as long as I'm not buying a sub-penny stock, it will be very cheap, although they do have a cap, I think, at 1% of the trade value. So thankful to God for all of this, for all the mistakes I've been through, because all it does is make me stronger. Now I have this nice cash account, and I can keep working on my trading there. DFFN, the setup is still there, and I guess if you wanted to be Mr. VWAP, you can risk off the VWAP, but otherwise it's a pretty good day. Just learned a lot. Was really excited today to trade, and I think I did pretty well. Of course, SCKT is a nice stock that went as high as the 30s and might even close stronger. I just have to get better at trading these type of stocks. Definitely something in the horizon, something to be working towards, you know, to be some kind of a, I guess, a hodler mentality, or just to have the balls to buy it at $13, you know, when it's already up from $6, 200% from the market open, not even counting the pre-market or the previous close at $3, and to consider actually holding for something like this, which didn't get too halty until it got around here. Doesn't get halted as easily as some other stocks. So yeah, I'm just going to call it off right there. A lot of learning, a lot of things to go through. I got to study a bunch. Just took my shower. Tried to overnight trade. Up $2.70. And I mean, now getting paid $2.70 to learn as much as I did, experience as much as I did, I think that's well worth it. something you couldn't do in 2015. Paying $9.95 in and out commissions, although IB, I guess, had better commissions back then with half a penny per share or something like that back then, as well as with Speed Trader. Could have been a lot worse. Times are better, and I'm just really thankful to God for this. That's all I got.